The stack data structure is a very popular data structure, and it's used in solving many problems in computer science. Um, it's especially used in problems where you need to track back the values of the states that you are in, just like in DFS algorithms. But more on that in future videos. In this video, I'm going to just focus on creating the stack in Python and how to add data to it and how to remove um, data out of the stack. So first we'll create class called stack. We will then initialize it with the init, and we'll say self. Oops, we'll need self here. Self.stack equals, and we'll use lists to store our stack data. So the stack will initialize an empty list. All right, so the other operation in the stack will be, well, before we start configuring or setting up the operations of the stack, let's create a representation method, which will just show us what's for the programmer, what kind of data structure it is, and will also show what's stored in the data structure. So we're going to return, call this a stack, and we'll just put self.stack in here. All right, so the first operation will be push self, and we'll call value. So we're pushing a value onto the stack. So what we're going to do is self.stack, which is a list, .append. We're going to append it with the value. The second operation is pop. So we will be just removing the top objects from the stack. So we're just going to return self.stack.pop. And last thing, we just want to peek on top of the stack to see what is the top object or instance of the class without popping it. So here what we're going to return is self.stack and the last item in the stack list. So that's it. That's as simple as this. We've created a stack. I'm going to use GIMP here to kind of show you, in case you never worked with stacks before. So basically, the stack is just a bunch of objects on top of each other. So like this is the first object. So we're pushing onto the stack. This is the second object we're pushing onto the stack. Third object. This can be any object you want, or integers or strings or anything you can push onto your stack. So that's the fourth object. Popping is deleting each one of those objects. So it has push and it has pop operations, and peek, we're just going to look at the very top object of the stack. So let's save that. Let's go to IPython and Data structures. Okay, so and let's play with this stack. Let's see what it can do. All right, so from stack import stack, call it s, initialize the stack so it's empty. So let's push integers into it. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's peek, and we see the 3 is the very top layer of that stack. If we pop it, we'll return 3, and now if we peek again, we'll see 2. So now it's like we went back to the previous state, and now we have the value of 2 in the previous state. But we'll talk more about that in later videos. Let's just look at the representation again, and this is just simple stack list, Python list that has 1 and 2 values. Let's pop again, and then pop. And now we got an index error pop from an empty list. So let's add those protections where we are popping from an empty list or peeking onto an empty list. So we're getting index error list out of range. So the areas we might have problems in is this. So we check if we actually do have some data in the stack. So self stack return the popped objects. Otherwise, we can just return nothing or none. Same thing with peek. Oops. Same thing with peek. If self dot stack, going to return the value of the last object in the list. Otherwise, we're just going to return. And that should be it. Let's quit, reopen, import it again, create the stack. Now let's try again. Pop. Good. So we don't have anything in the pop. Peek. We got nothing because it's empty. Let's try push. Let's push names or strings. 1. Let's do this. 1, 2, and let's peek. 2. Let's pop. 2 and peek. Now we have 1. Okay, so that's pretty much it for stacks, the stack data structure. In future videos, we'll see where we can use the stacks data structure and where it can be useful.